Hey everybody, I'm Ben Yee,
I'm Melissa Stein.
and
We are here to talk about the state committee.
we just had a meeting. We have 2 a year,
Okay.
unless there's special business that needs to be addressed.
Where does the meeting happen?
When?
Where?
Oh, where? Randomly around the state. It's supposed to be one in upstate, one in downstate, and so we had this in Westchester. So this is the downstate one, not too far. So it was like 2 days after the election, and I had forgotten about it.
I can understand why.
And luckily it was in Westchester, and I just hauled up, and I was like, great. But what I wanted to say is some really big things happened at this meeting.
Can you do a quick, I know I said I wasn't going to say anything, but here I am saying something. But for people who don't...
And I said,
you
I
said,
doubt
I doubt you're going to say
I
something.
doubt
Right,
that, yeah.
right. Can you explain exactly what the state committee is? Because
Absolutely.
not everybody knows.
So the Democratic Party, all parties really, broken into 3 levels: national, state, local. Local is the county level here in New York. Every level of the party is controlled by a governing committee that tells it what to do, how to spend its money, etc. DNC, Democratic National Committee, those are those people. State committee are the ones that run the state party, and county committee runs the local county party.
Got it. So this is the counterpart to County Committee Manhattan, is the state, and that's
Correct.
what we're doing for
And
all...
the state
for
is
the
really
state
meant to
of
be
New York.
concerned with state level elections. So state senate, state assembly,
Got it.
governor, etc. Blah blah blah. Now, so it's a pretty important body because it generally tends to have, or in a strong state with strong party apparatus, it's got a lot of money. It's responsible for very important elections. And even here in New York, even though New York City is gigantic and has a huge budget, it's really a creature of the state. And so much of what we do here is controlled by the state. Rent regulation is controlled by the state. Healthcare is controlled by the state. Taxes are controlled by the state. All of
Subway.
those things. So
MTA, like lots of things.
MTA, exactly.
We were talking about
Well, unless Corey Johnson gets his way.
Right.
So the state committee is for a long time been basically a creature of the governor, and it's
Who's
most.
the head of the state committee?
So the state committee has a chair, which is elected in theory by the members, and these elections have been. With a little backstory, the last meeting of the state committee, we elected our leadership of the committee.
Right.
And that meeting was done improperly. The election was, in the view of many, illegal. We were considering a lawsuit.
Did Russians hack it?
They didn't have to. Let me put it that way. Queens got there
Wow.
first.
Wow.
And then the meeting was improperly adjourned. And there's a video of this. You go to facebook.com/BenYeeNY, which is my Facebook page where I live stream all these things. You can see that meeting, and they cut somebody off as they were trying to pass a motion to challenge the election outcomes, and then they were just like, motion to adjourn, adjourned, and that was it. So there was a lot of consternation about this at this meeting.
So 6 months went by.
6 months
so
went
you guys
by.
Met
That's right.
Again. Okay.
That's right. At this meeting, a few big things happened. We did end up filing a lawsuit, but first, and most importantly, the chair of the state committee resigned. This was Byron Brown, who's the mayor of Buffalo. And in his place,
So it's a big deal job to be the head of this state
it
committee.
depends how you look at it. It is not a big deal job because the state committee is known to just be subservient to the governor.
Got it.
And so nobody expects the state committee to do or accomplish anything. But now with all these activists in there, there's a lot more back and forth. And what we got was this guy named Jay Jacobs. He was picked by the governor, so there was a lot of suspicion. It's not like it was a very open process. But Jay Jacobs is the chair of Nassau County, and he was the chair of the state committee for 2009 to 12, and let me tell you, he did an amazing job. We debated some important resolutions at this meeting, and we had a real debate. He let people speak. He was very good about time management. You would have liked it, you know?
I'm a big fan of time management.
So, and he knew his parliamentary procedure, and he recognized points of order. And I just by way of contrast, again, you can watch the video of this. It's online. It's all live streamed on my Facebook page, and I put it on Twitter. This is in contrast to the previous chair, who one of the big things that we also did, it seems small, but it's important. We amended the minutes from the last meeting to reflect the fact that it was improperly held, improperly conducted.
I mean, but what does that mean?
Well,
So you amended you amended the minutes, so it's a factual representation of what happened.
That's
but
right.
Was anybody censored? Did anybody
Well,
get punished?
in theory, the chair resigned, and
Okay,
this is
so
a
that's pretty
consequence of that.
Right, okay. Fair
But
enough.
up until the last minute, they said we're amending the minutes, and I broke into the point of inquiry and was like, "Can you tell us what we're amending it to say?" And he was just like, "No." He was like, "I don't recognize you." I was like, "Point of information, point of information, point of," and I just had to keep saying it. He was like, "The chair does not recognize you. I'm not recognizing you." I'm like, "I just want to know what we're voting on." And he's like, "I do not recognize you." And I was like, "You have to tell us what the amendment is so that we know whether or not to vote yes or no." And he was
Is
like,
this the good new guy?
"No, this is the guy up until the last minute. The
Oh.
guy before him was trying to pull this stuff." And he was just like, "It was put on all of your chairs." And I was like, "Really? I didn't know that." And he was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Just by show of hands, who got this?" And nobody. And I was like, because I was like, "If it's on the chairs, I'm cool with it." He's like, "Who got it?" Nobody. And it was like, "Oh, all right." And then they made the guy, Michael Reich, who had conducted that previous meeting, read aloud the changes to the meeting about how he improperly conducted it. It was pretty funny. And, you know,
I think it's one of those you had to be there things. Just
okay, maybe. But so the important thing is we got an accurate reflection of
No,
what
that's
happened.
great, though.
We got a chair that,
That does
at
the
least
job.
at this meeting,
Right.
was willing to hold a serious discussion. And
That's
as a
great.
result, we were able to amend the rules to change how we elect leadership. Not majorly, but a couple of important steps forward. And we, the state committee passed a resolution against fusion voting, which was a tremendous controversy, and we can talk about it some other time.
Okay. I will just quickly say, because I know we have to wrap up, that I think it's really interesting what you're saying about how the state committee was always sort of this arm of the governor and he chose things and didn't really accomplish much, but that
Yeah.
activists and advocates are changing things. And hopefully that's happening on a citywide level in county committee as well, where it used to just be this rubber stamp. But now that people who are more outspoken and really want to make change happen are getting involved, perhaps it can be a more viable body. I really believe that if you have elected representatives of every election district in the city, perhaps they can become a voice.
Yes.
You know, what would happen if county committees spoke together and you had 500 or 800 or 1,000 signatures to something? Then maybe elected officials would pay attention. Instead of it
Absolutely.
being sort of a
Not just 1,000 signatures, but 1,000 signatures of people who
are
engaged
chose to
in
be
that
involved,
community.
right.
Yes.
You know, I think that that's a possibility. It would be great because then there would be true representation of the people, not necessarily through a club or a small group, but really people who are representing our neighbors and neighborhoods. And that would be a way of, you know, making sure that more people are heard.
So one last thought. I was at a New Kings Democrats meeting just last week, and Frank Sedio, the chair of the Brooklyn County Party, showed up. And I think Frank said it best because he said, New York City is a one-party place, and so you have no other options. If you are not involved in the Democratic Party here, and the county committee and the party committees are not listening to voters, you don't have real representation because you have a one-party town.
Right, so be a part of the party.
Be a part.
Come to the party.
Come to the party.
Come to the party. There are donuts and cookies.
It's funny because the Bronx makes the excuse that we can't have meetings of the full county committee because we can't afford the food for everybody. And
What food?
activists,
Yeah.
exactly, and activists are just like, we don't need food.
Yeah,
We can survive on democracy alone.
right. Everybody can bring their own granola bars.
In any event,
Right, okay, on that note. see ya.
later.